Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7. Now today, we got another account overview for you guys, and I know it's been quite a while since we've done our last one, but because I'm not going to be home during the entire duration of this summer, thought might as well throw one out for you guys to show you the progress that I've made over the past couple of months. The next update that you're going to get is probably going to be near the end of summer when I return back home, but if you want to stay up to date with all of my current builds and my units, well, link to the Discord server is in the description down below. Feel free to join our community. It's very vast. We have a lot of people, very active, and I'm sure you'll have a good time. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this video, shall we? Now, I've had a bunch of units built up since the last account overview, and a lot of things have really changed with my units as well. So, starting off here with Holiday Yufine, yeah, right here, as we see, she was actually getting quite a few Molagoras in her, but these are her stats right now. I changed her from a DPS build to a more attack-focused build, a little bit of effectiveness and a bit of speed. Now, she is currently on Snow Crystal right here to help boost her up in terms of combat readiness whenever she is hit. This is actually really nice due to her passive evasion buff on her S2. And if you draft her with a unit that has barriers, like FCC for example, it's going to be very effective in terms of boosting her up so that she can cleanse any debuffs that are put on your team, and then give you a little combat readiness boost as well. Now, her gear is kind of all over the place. I just kind of put some leftover pieces on her that nobody else was really using, right? So she's on immunity. She needs to have that just in case you get abyssal stun, like abyssal crown stunned by like a Bassar or something like that. So she's basically used to counter Bassars. She's pretty decent against Cerises as well. Although if I want to use her against Cerise, she probably needs to be a little bit faster than this. But it could potentially work if the Cerise doesn't have a follow-up unit that goes right after her. So that is something to keep in mind. Alright, moving on here, we got my Adventurer Roz. Yeah, that's right. A Roz is built up, and oh my gosh, do I love him. Look at these stats right here. Looking fairly nice. Now, I prefer my A Roz faster, right? I prefer fast units, even if we're in a bruisery meta. Speed is the name of the game, at least for my playstyle. I like to go first. I like to have control over the game, taking multiple turns. Right, so as you can see here, his pieces aren't really that great, especially that helmet that you just saw earlier. Awful, awful helmet. But I had to reforge it, right, because, well, I need it, and I haven't gotten a better one since. So yeah, he's on some pretty decent stuff. Modified effectiveness everywhere, trying to get his effectiveness as high as possible, because I do use him in PvE. It's also quite nice to be able to defense break certain units in PvP as well. Those units that sit around like 100 effect res. He's on Aureus. He's not usually my Aureus tank, but sometimes when I draft him, he's going to be with units like Landy or Spectre Tenebria. It's kind of nice to be able to mitigate some of the damage. Now this Aureus is obviously only just plus 15 because my other copies are on units that I use more for the dedicated tanking. Right, so there he is. He's very, very solid, especially with 1800 defense. He's a very sturdy unit. But yeah, there you go there. Next up we have Fire Cecilia. She's gotten a buff. She's looking really strong now and very versatile as well. So here are her stats. She's slowed down, I think, a little bit since I had her around 238 or something like that before, 236, I believe. But, you know, she does her job just fine. I use her into A Tywins or just any units that tend to have a bit of crowd control on them, right? So she has immunity. She's on Bastion as well. And that's because you need to be able to protect some of your units, right? Especially if you're bringing units into a crowd control team, which is usually what I do, right? A Tywins, sometimes ML Balls and stuff. It's quite nice to have. So Bastion here, I like to pair my Cecilia with units like Little Queen Charlotte. My Little Queen Charlotte does not have immunity on her, so strategically have Bastion on her here to help cover up one of those, you know, weaknesses there. She's on her EE that decreases speed for all enemies for 2 turns. Really good in PvP and PvE. Her S2, being able to strip a buff and then inflict 2 debuffs, right? Attack down and speed down, is actually really strong into things like A Tywin, because he can only cleanse 1 debuff every turn that he gets. And obviously your S3 on Cecilia is an AoE provoke as well. So very, very powerful unit. And so that's why I have her on a bunch of effectiveness as well. I'm trying to get rid of this crit chance and trying to get it somewhere else to other stats, but it's because of pieces like this, right, that I kind of have it there. All right, but anyway, there's Fire Cecilia. Love using her. Next up, we have Lilias, who's pretty much been on like PvE duty, right? She's on Holy Sacrifice there, but PvE duty Lilias. She does still work in PvP, as you can see. The resistance is okay. She's on immunity. Right, so she's not going to get debuffed by your standard DPS units that don't have any effectiveness. So she does work. She is decently tanky, I would say. Is not the worst, right? She's on Holy Sacrifice just because I don't have any other Knight artifacts to give her right now. She's kind of holding Holy Sac until I can get it to plus 30, in which case I'll probably slap it on somebody else later. But yeah, not too many pieces I-90, just really the boots for the speed. And yeah, the rest of the pieces are kind of, I have a couple free pieces going on there as well, right? Holy Sacrifice with a 90% chance to revive. She never dies in PvE. But if I do bring her in PvP, people do like to focus Lilias, so have Holy Sacrifice there just in case, you know, so she does her job. She's a great Falconer Kluri counter, except my speed is a little too low for that to work. But yeah, she's decent. I would probably put her on something like Steadfast Guardian with this resistance, just in case, you know, they have like a little opener or something, a Cerise that boosts her up, right? Then she can cleanse the team, kind of like a Holiday Yufine. But yeah, anyway, she's not too bad. I don't use her a lot in PvP. I don't see her a lot in PvP either, but in PvE, she really does shine as of right now. Moving on, we got Bunny Kayron, of course. So here we go. These stats, not the best. He's still work in progress. Really nice weapon here, and decent helmet. I'm trying to get a better helmet, right? I haven't reforged this because it's not a fantastic one, but it's not a horrible one either. So yeah, not too bad overall. I don't use him very often, but whenever he does come up in draft, he is very, very nice to have. He used to be one of my tank busters, which is why he's on Elias Knife. Elias Knife, just penetrating defense is just something that's really, really powerful, right? Especially in RTA and Guild Wars and such, where you have a lot of bulky, tanky, bruisery units. And I have his EE that allows him to do more damage on his S3, which is usually what I use him for, right? Burst down some units with his S3, and then his S1s, I mean, they do just fine because you're able to soul burn it. So there we go. That's my Kayron. Wish he had more crit damage, but other than that, he works perfectly fine. Maybe one day we'll try to put him on a counter build or something. That would be quite interesting and probably quite fun. Right, moving on, we got Kawana here. Actually, not Kawana here. We got Lidica here. Kawana's not geared. Her gear, she was on some spare stuff, but we have Lidica here, who's changed up a little bit, right? She used to be on a damage build, which was really fun in Guild Wars, but I had to take a lot of that damage gear and kind of put it on some other units. So here we go. Lidica's just on a slow... I don't even know what she does with this. She has some effectiveness, a little bit of speed. She's not that fast, right? But here she can actually lock down a unit in Guild Wars or maybe in RTA or like mock battles or something. I don't really foresee myself using her in actual ladder. She's just holding on to a lot of my spare pieces that have, you know, a bunch of speed on it. So she's not too bad, right? Yeah, I can probably use her. Pushing someone to the back of the line, though, is fairly nice. Her only problem is that if she gets 15%'ed, yeah, it really hurts. She's just holding this as a placeholder, right? Sword of Judgment. Potentially you can push somebody back with her S1's Combat Readiness attack there. And she's on the EE that dispels 2. That makes her dispel 2 buffs with her S2, which is actually quite nice in a pretty buff-heavy meta. So, not too bad overall. Again, I don't really draft her. I sometimes use her in Guild Wars, but other than that, it doesn't really see much use, sadly. Alright, moving on, we have Melissa. So, I don't use her very often, but if there's a Rylet, Oh, she eats him up for breakfast. So here we go. Now, you might be wondering, well, she's pretty slow, not high attack, what's going on here? So this Melissa here is basically designed to pair up with someone like Rose, right? Rose will push her up, give her attack buff, and then she's going to go and snipe that Rylet down. She's on just free destruction gear, actually free everything essentially, except the boots. No real reason for me to invest too much into her. She does her job, and I can't really use her in RTA. Yeah, she has a, I mean, look at the HP substats here. Gotta reach that 1k defense and 10k HP, you know? But it actually does come up from time to time, where she does need to survive in Guild Wars if her immortality runs out. It's kind of good to have. Again, you probably just sack the defense and HP, get more attack, speed, and crit damage. But I use her in a very specific comp, right? She's kind of speed-tuned and works with my Rose. She's on Oath Key because if you're fighting Rylets, you don't want him to Moonlight Dreamblade. This cancels it out, so it's a very good artifact. And yeah, not too bad overall. Again, she doesn't really see too much use, but whenever she does see use, it's fantastic. Next up, we got Mercedes. I know. I'm waiting for her specialty change, right? Waiting for that to show up. But here's my Mercedes. No Molagoras because I'm currently working on a separate project, but I will eventually be molaing her up. I've tested her in Earth Expedition. She does work pretty well. If she had the molas, she'd probably be way better than my Arby. But here are her stats. Not the best, right? She's, again, holding spare gear, as you can probably tell, by not everything being I-90. And the I-90 pieces she does have are that's just spare gear that no one else is currently using because I have a bunch of DPS gear and not enough DPS units. That was a pretty nice necklace, by the way, and a nice chest piece, too. This piece is quite alright, just for the crit damage. She didn't need a lot of crit chance, actually. She awakens, I think, into some crit chance, which was really nice. And a spare boot. I think this used to be like Holiday Yufine's boot, right? Some of the stuff was Holiday Yufine stuff. She's currently on last tea time because I thought, hey, this would be a fun little thing to have on her. In the Earth Expeditions I tested her in, she didn't proc this at all. But hey, at least she got some increased damage, right, from the AoEs, which is pretty good. I think this is a pretty decent artifact. If I can get more copies of it randomly through summons, wouldn't be bad. But yeah, that's my Mercedes. We'll like her to be better, obviously. But again, we'll wait for that specialty change. Hopefully she gets a boost in her base stats, a boost to her skills, and hopefully she becomes a really strong unit in PvP. I would love to see it. Okay, but moving on, we got everybody's favorite vegetable, carrot. That's right. We've been using carrot here on this channel way before she got her buffs, and now everyone hates her because everyone thinks she's overpowered. But here's my carrot right here. She does absolutely everything I need her to, which is to snipe Landies, and that's about it. She has enough bulk to survive. She has a little bit of effectiveness. She doesn't need effectiveness at all. You could have 0 on her and she works as well. But these are just some substats that I had that I didn't get rid of because I couldn't modify them out. Had some other priorities. But yeah, stack bulk. I have an HP % necklace, by the way, and then an attack % ring. Before I had her on HP ring and neck, but I found that she didn't have enough burst, right? I wanted her to burst. So as you can see, she has 225 speed to just go before Landies, bop her, and it's over. I prefer my carrot holding Tagahel's Ancient Book for that early game burst, because again, get rid of Landies, done, right? And if you don't use the soul burns on her, well, that's perfectly fine. You can use soul burn on anybody else. Having souls is just such a good utility, and I honestly never use Tagahel's on any units that I normally draft in RTA, right? I normally don't draft mages, but having carrot around, oh my gosh, it was a complete game changer. You can just soul burn anything right off the bat. Oh, so nice. I feel the power coursing through my veins. But yeah, there's carrot for you guys. That's my current build. I don't think she's going to be changing anytime soon. I'm really, really happy with how she performs. Alright, next up we have Achates. I've actually redesigned her to work in Guild Wars. Optimized her against the kind of FCC Landy Surin comps that you're going to see running around a lot. I think I have a couple of Guild War example videos coming up actually soon on channel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Yeah, Achates works really well in that comp. You use her with A-Raz and ML Ken. So as you can see, she's on immunity. She's slow, right? She's slow. And here's the important part. You want to go after all the damage dealers, right? You don't want her too fast. You want to go after all the damage dealers so that you can heal back up before they lap back around, right? So this is a perfect speed for her. It's actually very nice. And her bulk is really good. Like, the HP seems a little low, but the defense really makes up for it. Especially because against Landys and such, she's going to be missing a lot anyway. That's when the defense really kicks in to mitigate the damage, because you're not taking crits, right, from a miss. So it's pretty good. As you can see, not a speed set or anything, just full defense, HP, immunity set. Immunity is really nice because you want to prevent yourself from getting silenced from Tempest Surin. If you get silenced from that Tempest Surin, because most Tempest Surins have a bit of effectiveness, then you're going to be in a whole world of trouble and hurt, right, if Achates can't cleanse and heal your team. So she's really, really useful. I use her all the time in Guild Wars, and she even has a bunch of effect res to boot, right? It actually works pretty well. Oh, she has Rod of Amaryllis for Artifact. But it works really well with this EE, which gives her effect res buff for 2 turns whenever she uses her S3. So she'll constantly, if you're cycling S2, S3 on herself, she'll constantly have 170 resist. So nothing at that point, after her first turn with immunity, nothing at that point is going to be able to debuff her. So quite nice, quite nice. Moving on, we have the queen of PvE, Tamarinne right here, and yeah, there we go. Boosted up some of her stats with some random piece of gear I had laying around. Again, you notice I don't I-90 anything with her. She works perfectly fine with these types of stats. Doesn't die at all in any of the expeditions. You can use her in raids, right? Very versatile unit, and I use her everywhere now. Yeah, so she has effectiveness for her strip on S1 in idle form. She has 100 effect res to make sure she resists the dark expedition. What is it, skill cooldown reset thing from the stupid cannon. Yeah, so that's there for that. It's also pretty good in general. 200 something speed. She's not very fast. She's not super bulky, but she has enough to do what she needs to do. Most of the stats, again, went to the effectiveness and effect res, because that's what you need in a PvE setting, at least on her. She's on Magaraha's Tome, which is really nice because it allows her to cycle really rapidly over and over again during those expeditions, squeezing out those extra little turns, extra bursts of damage when she's in idle form and pushes up the team. So I would love to go ahead and try to get this to plus 30, but she works for right now. And so I don't think I really need to do that. It's not a high priority for me right now. I have other artifacts that I want to work on. But yeah, she works very, very nicely in the fire, the earth, and the dark expeditions where I use her. And I use her in Hellraid as well. Alright, moving on, we got Luna. Oh man, the DPS of the year for expeditions. Here are her stats, right? Not too bad. She got some bulk, she got some attack, crit damage. I would like her crit damage to be higher, but again, I don't I-90 the pieces that I use on my PvE units, except the boot. You can ignore the boot there. That's just a leftover boot from a DPS unit I had built back in the day that I don't use attack boots on anymore. But yeah, you can see here, she has some speed substats here and there. She's on a speed set. She's on attack percent boot, so that's why she has some pretty nice damage stats going on. Again, these are all just, these pieces aren't great. They kind of low rolled, right? As you can see, it's missing like a whole roll here somewhere. Not the best pieces, not the highest quality gear. This piece is actually pretty decent. I like this piece a lot, but it's on her for right now because I don't have anyone that needs attack percent boots. But yeah, you don't need really high substats on your gears to put her to good use. She's on Uberius's Tooth, which is just there for a little bit of extra damage in expeditions. You can use that. There's a 3-star artifact that's better. I forget what it is. It gives you extra damage whenever you use a basic attack, your S1. That was way more consistent than this, but I had this laying around, so I just slapped it on her, because why not? And she's on her EE that gives her a combat readiness boost. This is actually really nice for the for all the expeditions that use her in, which is fire and dark. So she actually gets to turn cycle a lot more. You turn off her skills whenever you use her anyway, on auto. So you just turn off her skills, she pushes herself up. It's really nice in the fire expedition, really nice in the dark one as well for just cycling your turns. And yeah, overall fantastic unit for PvE. Alright, moving on, speaking of PvE, we got Sigret farming those wyverns, which I actually haven't been doing much of lately. I haven't been farming wyvern at all. I've been farming Banshee. Getting lifesteal gear, which you guys will see in just a second. Yeah, she's on full, basically free destruction pieces right here, as you can see. I mean, look at this. What is this, right? I can easily mod in some crit damage or something here, but she does her job, right? It doesn't matter. We got hit set here going on because I like effectiveness on my Sigret. Sigret landing her debuffs is actually very nice. You don't need, you know, a super dedicated debuffer that needs to land, you know, extra bleeds or poisons or burns or whatever you're trying to do onto the wyvern to make it hit the front lines. So my Sigret's a hybrid. She's like really strong DPS, but also a little bit of effectiveness to land those debuffs, which is quite handy because then everyone else on the team can also focus on damage dealing as well. So we got Daydream Joker, of course. I mean, that's best thing to have when sniping down wyvern. And we got the condition for her S2 to go from 50% remaining health to 75%. This actually helps a lot, gives her extra follow-up attack, right, when she's attacking wyvern. So pretty good. Alright, but yeah, that's it for Sigret. Pretty standard. I don't think I've changed her from the last time. And now we have Krau. So Krau here, looking fairly nice. I would like more defense on him, but it works, right? If I get a plus 30 Holy Sack, I'd probably put Holy Sack on my Krau here, just because he tends to get focused down really quick, right? People don't like dealing with Kraus, but Krau is really strong in the meta right now, with carrots running around, with fire being pretty strong in general, right? Charlotte got an EE. We got what is it? Holly Yufine that's pretty decent for cleansing. Right, you got a lot of threats going on. Yeah, Fire Ravi, how could I forget about that? Right, so overall, Krau has just risen, right, to first pick status yet again. People are shying away from the Golden Boys, and Krau is reigning supreme, just as he should be. But yeah, that's my plan for him. Hopefully, I can get more HP. Trying to push that like 25k, but again, I don't have any imprints on him, as you can see, which would actually help quite a bit. Alright, moving on though, we got Rose. Been drafting her a little bit in some videos that you guys will see in the coming weeks. Yeah, Rose doing her job. So she's 250 speed. It's not the best, not the worst. I'd like her to get to 260 actually, to be speed tuned with a lot of my other current units right now. So that is my goal, to get her to 260 speed. Could probably upgrade her weapon here, right? It's only 11 speed there. But yeah, other than that, I mean, she's on some offset pieces, doesn't really matter, right? All you care about is getting that speed for her to go and burst your team forward with combat readiness, attack buffs, and then you go ham on the opponents. She's currently on Adamant. She used to be on Bastion, which is quite nice, but then Cleave fell off, and so I put her on Adamant Shield just as a kind of placeholder artifact, right, to have. She's not bad on it. A bit of damage mitigation here and there, you know, if you have like Rose with, I don't know, A-Raz or something, A-Raz holding Aureus. You have Aureus Adamant going on, protecting some of your squishy cleavers, and you'll be able to give attack buff to everybody. A-Raz can S2 into something, bring along like a Landy or whatever. Now you have an attack buff Landy that's dual attacking with A-Raz, getting extra stacks on herself, then she takes a turn, and yeah, it just snowballs from there, so it's pretty nice. She's currently on her EE that gives a lower cooldown on her S3. I like it, it's pretty good. Her other EE's not bad, but this is because I use her in PvP and PvE. It's just a good catch-all artifact. Be able to cycle your team's turns really quickly, right, over and over with the pushes. Pretty good. And also her skin. Oh, her skin is very nice. Alright, moving on, we have Karin here, which people apparently have a problem with me pronouncing her name like that, but hey, it's the way you're supposed to pronounce it in Korean and in Japanese. And Karin is supposed to be with an E, right? I know I used to call her Karin, but like there's supposed to be an E there, at least I believe. So Karin here, we're just going to call her that from now on, is on a damage, a hybrid debuff build, kind of like Sigret. Again, she's on pure leftover pieces that, you know, roll decently. There's not the best, like, you know, just looking for things that have effectiveness. She's on hit set, right? Free hit set there, modded for effectiveness. Free gear right there. Really good hit set piece right here, actually. This is very nice. But, again, it's not used on anybody else, so she has it. She's on Daydream Joker right here. Of course, you're fighting Wyvern, so why would you not? And yeah, she's my second DPS. She's my primary defense breaker as well. 100% on her S2 to land defense break, which gets 15% all the time because Smilegate loves RNG. But yeah, she does her job. Nothing's really changed from her since the last time I showed her. Next up, we have Kise. So Kise here, no longer actually on her Symbol of Unity, but we'll get to that in a bit. But here are her stats right there on the left. I know that a lot of people are trying to build like really fast Kises, 270, 280, 290 speed Kises. I've seen 300s. But I like her on damage. I like her to just snipe things down. She's a very, very strong carrot counter, by the way. If you're having trouble with carrot, you have a Kise. Well, what are you doing? You don't need her to be insane speeds, right? Most carrots are not 250 speed. So as long as you go before the carrot, you can snipe her. Pretty nice. You can also speed tune her. My Kise speed tuned with my Falconer Kluri. So Falconer Kluri gets to go first, defense breaks something, Kise, boop, snipes down that thing, and we're all good. She's on Portrait of the Saviors right now. She used to be on Symbol of Unity because I used her with Kluri to snipe Rylets, but now I have a dedicated Rylet sniper, which you will see in a bit. So right here, she's on her speed EE, right, with decrease the duration of buffs. So this allows her to strip immunity if a target has immunity. And it decreases duration of all buffs, so not just a single buff, right? So if they have barrier and immunity, you get to decrease the barrier by 1 turn and technically strip the immunity. So it's pretty good, right? And then you can also reset their cooldowns, right? So she's very, very strong right now as a unit. Highly underrated, right? Again, some people, I know a lot of people have her, but just somehow just don't have her built, right? You don't need insane gear for her. She doesn't need to be 250 speed, right? You can have her 220, 230, maybe somebody to go before her to give her a little boost, and she'll be good. Alright, but that's Kise there. Next up we have Cerise, who, yeah, Cerise is not... My Cerise is scuffed, right? Don't use this as an example. She's on my Guild War defense, because no one can test Cerise on Guild War defense anyway, so... she's just there for that, and also I occasionally draft her in RTA here and there for the dual attack and the stun utility. Not necessarily for her S3. Her S3 is mostly just to protect herself. But yeah, here you go. These are her stats right here. You know, not the best pieces. Weapon's pretty slow, only 15 speed. Right, her chest piece, oh, her chest piece is horrible. Look at that, 13. She can be way faster, right? I can get her around 295. If I gave her my Lidica gear, but oh boy, I'm not giving up Lidicas anything. I rolled this maybe a month or so back, right? Got some decent speed. Doesn't matter if it's on attack percent necklace, whatever, right? It has the speed, we use it. Flat HP, who cares? It has speed, we use it. It's on hit set, which is pretty nice because my effectiveness sucks. I have no imprints on her. And yeah, her boots are actually pretty decent. I actually kind of like her boots here. But yeah, overall, not too bad. She's on Miss Comfeel, which is great because if you're dual attacking and you luck sack your opponent by defense breaking them with Cerise, and your DPS follows up, well, it's over, right? RNG is the name of the game. So that's what she looks like as of right now. I would love to get some upgrades for her, but again, low priority because I don't really draft her all too often. She is pretty good against Carrot though, pretty good. Moving on though, we got, oh, Flan. Flan after her buffs. Man, SSS imprint Flan simped for her on her banner, and guess what, guys? Yeah, that's right. Look at these stats here. So, what we got is Flan with she's on immunity now, by the way, as well. 41 effectiveness there on the weapon. Very nice. We got some speed here. Got some effectiveness, a little bit of speed, right? I don't really want her to be too fast. If you have a Flan that's too fast, she's not going to be doing her job to defense break. Now, if you're just using her as an Oxlox pusher, right? Using her just for S2, by all means, go for it, right? Nothing wrong with that. But personally, I prefer to use her with her S3. Okay, I have other means of buffing attack, right? There's so many other, you have Oxlots, you have Rose, right? You have Operator Sigrets, you have all these other units that you use to buff attack Dienes, that you don't need Flan, right? You can even trigger like Alexas on your, I don't know, Arby or something, just gab, right? Just gab and win. But Flan's defense break being AoE and not having to hit the opponent, like kind of like Tywin's, right? Makes her really powerful. As long as you can strip the immunity, or a lot of high-res units don't have immunity, DJ Bassars, Kitty Clarissas, right? People's dedicated cleansers, Destinas and stuff, usually don't have immunity because it's really hard to get just proper stats on immunity gear. It's just less abundant than other things that are available to you. And also, resist sets offer, you know, offer you that 20% extra ER to hit that threshold. Most people want to hit around 250 resistance because most debuffers are 150 effectiveness. Well, we're breaking that here. 234 effectiveness. That's right. That means that we should be able to debuff any unit that's 250 resistance, right? Reliably. I know it's like, we're like, what, 16% under 250? But that's okay, because you account for there's a maximum of 85% chance, right? So you can take away 15% from the 250, right? And so that's where we are right here. This effectiveness is perfect. I've tested it over and over again. Been defense breaking, made Chloe's, you know, DJ Bassars, all these units. She's such a fantastic enabler for Cleave, which, by the way, I'm trying to bring back. So if you're interested in Cleave, well, stay tuned. We got a few videos along the way next week that showcase Flan in all her glory, right? So really happy with this build. The effectiveness really helps quite a bit. The speed here, she's in a mid-tier speed, right? No reason to go, again, super fast on her for what I use her for. If you're using her as an Oxlot, by all means, go to 290 speed, whatever, right? That's perfectly fine. But the utility she brings is fantastic. Now, Unseen Observer, her own artifact, is great because of the 10 souls. I could, you know, put more limit breaks into this, but that's for the combat readiness. Doesn't really matter all that much at all for us, right? Because if you're soul burning her S3, she's gonna get another turn, push somebody up with S2. You don't need a cycle, right, back again. You don't need Flan to cycle back again. You just need that 10 souls for your DPS to go ahead and soul burn their you know, ulti S3 or whatever, and then clean up. So yeah, very happy with this Flan, by the way. Oh, makes me so happy whenever I see her stats. Alright, so moving on here, we got SSB. So again, I'm trying to get a better boot for her. She's on a free boot there, but it has all the stats I need, so it works, right? If it works, it works. So here are her stats. She actually got a lot of substat stones, so she's actually gotten about 200 more attack than last time. And she's gotten pretty thick as well, right? 1300 defense, 16,000 HP. Gonna be pretty hard to kill her. Gonna be pretty hard. But yeah, here's her gear right now, looking pretty good. Very happy with everything, to be honest, except this, right? I could modify the effectiveness to like crit damage or something, but again, I just want a better boot, right? I want an attack percent boot with more HP and defense, a little bit of crit chance, and that's about it, right? I don't really care about the fourth stat. But yeah, that's what I want, and I just can't. I just don't craft enough boots for me to see a crit chance attack percent boot, right? It's very rare. But I'm also kind of holding off on that because I want to change her to lifesteal, right? She was going to be put on lifesteal because I upgraded some of Champ Z's pieces, but another unit came along and I had to prioritize her instead. So we'll see that near the end of the video though. She's on, of course, plus 30 drink. If you guys have missed out on drink, well, this summer, hopefully during her rerun, hopefully she gets rerun, you can snag one of these from the powder shop, right? You can buy it now. The last time she was rerun, it was not in the powder shop. So yeah, hopefully you guys can get that. It's very useful for her. Okay, moving on, we got Dizzy. Dizzy's, nothing's changed about her. I really need to start re-gearing my counter units because I started farming Banshee and I'm starting to get a lot of upgrades. Right, so I really want to make Dizzy way tankier, 20k HP, right, way more defense, maybe 1500, 1600 defense, right? I want to make her faster, maybe about 200 speed on counter would be kind of nice, with some effectiveness as well. So that's my goal, but again, Dizzy, I don't really draft all that often. There's no real point to drafting her right now. It's really bruisery, you know, slow meta. There's a lot of A Tywins going around cleansing. There's Maid Chloe's with her cleanse buffs now. There's, you know, so many dedicated cleansers. Destina, DJB, Kitty Clarissa, Champion Zerato. Like, you have so many units, Lilibet, that she's kind of fallen off, right? She's kind of fallen off. She's still really nice in the low tiers, but where I am right now, I can't draft her very reliably. Isla Violin, of course, strip buffs. You're on a counter set. Why not? She used to be on my Guild War defense team, but I've since changed her out from that. And yeah, she's kind of just been benched for right now, but I'm sure I'll find a use for her eventually. Alright, moving on, we have F10A here on spare gear. Nothing impressive, right? Most of you guys can probably achieve these stats, no problem. You can even do better than I do. She's on immunity, though, because of her slow speed, right? Only 240. But I will occasionally draft her into my opponents if they have a very slow draft, right? If they have a lot of units that are all bulky, bruisery, like no one's speed contesting, then drafting her, she is pretty much an auto ban, right? She has some gear just in case she makes it through draft, but, I mean, come on. You're probably going to be banning her, right, if she's there, and you don't have like an FCC or a dedicated cleanser or anything like that. She's on Sierra Ren, making it harder for, you know, potential A Tywins and stuff to cleanse debuffs. Just spam debuffs at them, right? The more debuffs on them, the better. Now, people have been using things like Curse Compass for the extra effectiveness, which is really good, except the fact that I don't really need it right now. I don't draft her enough for me to warrant having that, but it's just nice to have her geared. Speed immunity, you know, not too shabby. All right, moving on here, we got Luluca, which is, she's actually been put on Wyvern duty. Seaside Bellona has been replaced. So Luluca has defense breaks on her S3 and her S1, which has been quite useful. She has a bit of effect, she's like 2 effectiveness short from what's needed for Wyvern, but as of right now, I just can't get the stats. I mean, I could easily by reforging some pieces, but, I mean, she's a PvE unit. She doesn't need reforges, right? So here's the stuff that she's currently wearing. Even a level 71 boot has the bulk to help her survive in things like raid, right? I do use her in Labyrinth quite a bit, so that is quite nice for her. Yeah, so she's on dual duty, right? Hunts and Labyrinths. That's what you want to try to do, right? When you're building a PvE unit. I didn't specifically build her just for PvE. I kind of just built her back in the day because I liked her design. But yeah, she works, right? If you're building someone for PvE, might as well have them work in multiple contents areas, right? Not just one. So overall, not too bad. Oh yeah, she is on Black Hand the Goddess because as you can see, her crit rate sucks. So she's on Black Hand the Goddess, and because she's fighting Wyvern, she gets an extra 15% boost anyway. So with Black Hand there and the even the minimum boost to crit chance and crit damage is pretty nice. She's going to be critting Wyvern no problem. And she is also on this EE that has the 35% chance to extra attack with S1, which is very good because in case you miss that defense break on that first S1 on the Wyvern, well, you can try again, right? There's a chance that you can try again. Alright, so there we go. That's Luluca right there. Next up, we have A Momo. I've actually benched her from use in PvE lately. A Raz has kind of replaced her in my raid comp because I use Diene as my healer. But yeah, A Momo is still decent stats for PvE, right? You can just, she works as long as you have effect res on her. Again, you can see these pieces suck, right? Look at that crit damage. What is going on? These pieces, you know, the free gear right there. You guys all probably got that from the recent login event too. This low roll heck, this piece has effect res, which is nice, but other than that, it's not a really great piece. This piece is fantastic, but I have nobody else to use it on, so Amomo's holding it right now. And this is actually a pretty decent boot. I'll probably mod in defense percent up here, right? And then this will probably go on somebody else, like another healer. But as of right now, all my other healers are looking pretty decent. I don't think I need this boot for right now. So Amomo. Kind of benched for right now, but yeah, on Rod of Amaryllis, if I were to use her, which is probably her best in slot artifact, actually. Alright, yeah, but there you go. Next up, we have Diene. Yeah, I've been using her quite a bit in RTA. With carrots running around, Diene is starting to make a comeback, and LR Krau is starting to get picked a lot less nowadays. Most people prefer blue Krau over him. is pretty good. So Diene here, really love her stats. Very clean, right? Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, Diene she works against carrots because she puts up so many buffs, right? You have attack buff, you have anti-crit, your barrier, and carrot can only strip one of them. She also has the ability to cleanse. She's also just very good because she's ice against carrot. Carrot sucks against ice units. It's never changed. Yeah, and with the effect res to boot, right, with her bulk, it's pretty nice. She's on Rod of Amaryllis because her skills normally don't heal at all, so having that gives her the ability to act as a healer as well instead of just a buffer. And yeah, very precious, very precious. Love using her, one of my favorite Soul Weavers in the entire game. Moving on, we got Alencia. Yeah, she's got a few hand-me-down pieces, so I slowed her down because Maid Chloe exists now. I don't have her at like 240 speed anymore. Don't like Maid Chloe's. I've actually just been pre-banning her, so probably shouldn't have slowed her down. But anyway, here we go. Modified some stuff here on her. She's got a bit more crit damage, which is kind of nice. Her crit damage was kind of low from before. But yeah, her speed, not too bad. I might change out this helmet. Because it has a bit too much speed on her. I know you're probably wondering oh, look at this privileged guy, too much speed. But if she goes before the buffers, I have to wait until she cycles back again to strip those buffs, which can be a little bit annoying, right? But she's on speed, she's on immunity, standard bruisery stats, right? She actually has a lot of defense, like a lot of defense. I'm thinking of like modifying away some of these defense substats because I don't think she needs that much. I need more crit damage. But again, speed set crit damage stones are really hard to come by. So she's on Draco Plate for the extra crit damage, because why not? And it helps her survive a little bit more with a little adamant shield effect on her. So pretty good. Although, again, Carrot, Ravi, Fire Charlottes running around, really hard to draft Earth units, especially Earth Bruisers. So she's kind of fallen off in the current meta. Alright, next up we have Lilibet. She's got a couple of gear piece changes. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, not too bad. Got more crit damage, actually. Overall, decent. 200 speed. She could use more attack, but then again, doesn't matter, because she's sniping down RBs regardless, right? I use her as an RB killer in Guild War. I do not have any extinction units besides Lilibet and Angelica. So, Lilibet is sometimes the only unit I can rely on to kill RB. I'll use Rose, Lilibet, and Melissa if they have an RB Rylet defense comp, right? Rose pushes up the Lilibet, she snipes the RB, Melissa goes, snipes the Rylet, and it's game over. She's on Portrait. This will eventually be plus 30 sometime. And yeah, she has the extra damage on her S3, right? As her EE, so that is why I don't really care for her attack too much, right? She does her job. She'll do her job. But yeah, there we go. Next up, we got Mercenary Helga. Oh yeah, you guys see her a lot in my mock battle videos. I love using her. It's just that it's kind of hard to, again, it's kind of hard to actually draft her because she's kind of not great as a unit in PvP. She is really good in PvE, by the way. There are Ice Expedition teams that you can use her in. So good. Her buffs, really strong. Her attack buff, effectiveness buff, but also her ability to push up the team, right? If you have a full Earth team, she gets to boost combat readiness, which is kind of nice. So yeah, so here's her gear. She's kind of just holding some immunity and counter stuff, right? I mean, see this chest piece? It's a pretty good chest piece. She's just kind of holding it because nobody else can use it right now, so that's that. Again, she's holding some pretty decent stuff. Not too bad. Again, you see her in mock battle. She does work. It's just that she's just lacking compared to some other units, right? She's just lacking. Champion's Trophy here is never ever proc for me ever. I've never had any time where this is ever procced and stunned something. But hey, it's there, because why not? You can counter. The theory is that you counter with Helga and you stun something and defense break them. But then again, if they're defense broken, why do you need to stun them? They're gonna die. She's just holding stuff. I don't even know. But she does work. These stats work, right? So if you want to have a bit of fun, go for it during a free on equip or something. Yufine. So Yufine is on my Banshee one-shot team. I decided not to build Biken because I already had a 6-star Yufine and she wasn't doing anything. So made her into a Banshee one-shot machine. So as you can see here, almost max crit damage, 4,500 attack, insane, because I got these rage pieces. All these rage pieces are from World Boss, And then this piece was from the Automaton Tower, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, overall not too bad. She has a bit too much speed, actually. I don't like that. She has a bit too much speed. But yeah, she doesn't need the crit chance or anything like that either. She gets an extra 15% from fighting Banshee, and you get Hellcutter. I have a plus 30 Hellcutter here. And it's not a waste to invest in Hellcutter, by the way, because a lot of LQCs, plus 30 Hellcutters on her, so strong as a unit. But yeah, Yufine with Hellcutter brings her crit chance up so that she'll always crit the Banshee. The attack stats here are actually huge, because by the time she gets her turn, she has, like, I think at least 14 stacks on her, right, of Hellcutter, and then you're just gonna nuke that Banshee like there's no tomorrow. Here, you don't really care about the effectiveness substat there. All you care about is potentially doing extra damage with her S1. This is if you use her in other contents. I know people with counter Yufines can troll with the debuff extension one. The S2 is not bad, right? It's not bad, but again, none of this matters in the context of a Banshee one-shot, which is what I use her for, so that's that. Alright, moving on here, we got Charles. Yeah, nothing's really changed about Charles here. He gained a little bit of bulk. I think I substat stoned, like, his helmet. Yeah, it's his helmet. He got a little bit of attack there, which is not bad. A little bit of defense here, which is, again, not bad. Pretty good, pretty good. Very happy with these substat stones, by the way. They've been helping me complete a lot more of my unit builds. But yeah, Charles looking the same as ever. Still got his plus 15 Elbrus. That procs like a plus 30. And he has the extra chance of activating S2. So he's still on my Guild War defense team. He's with a Cerise RB and himself. Well, yeah. And it's really strong. Really nice. Been getting consistent green shields, which is pretty good. Feels good. Next up, we have Falconer Kluri. So there we go. Actually, here, I'll show you guys these, right? There we go. Falconer Kluri, about 260 something speed. Would like her a little bit higher, right? It's like 260 speed-ish, right? Would like a little higher, 265, 270, just so she can be better speed tuned with Kise, because there is a small chance that she gets screwed over and Kise goes first. But it hasn't happened yet, but I know mathematically it's possible. 115 effectiveness, not too bad, right? Her weapon, see, her weapon's slow. She could definitely use a better weapon, but I need it for the effectiveness. The effectiveness is good for because I can use her in PvE, and it's really nice to have effectiveness in PvP, right? A lot of, things like FCCs and stuff do have a bit of effect res, right? LR Kraus, they do have a bit of effect res. They don't usually focus too much on it, but they have, like, 40, 50, some like 70, 80%. It's pretty good. Pretty good to have some effectiveness to be able to provoke and defense break, even though she always gets 15%ed. Yeah, her necklace definitely, I suck at getting HP percent necklaces. Like, all of mine are awful. This is one of my best ones. It's sad. Alright, there we go. That's a pretty decent ring, right? 16 speed, not bad. And her boots are actually pretty decent, right? Flat health, it works because she's 3-star. It works. 19k HP. She's a little higher on the HP side. Most people try to focus more on defense and speed. But again, my gear just doesn't roll that well. So there we go. Plus 30 adamant shield on her, though. She's my main adamant holder. I don't normally do Aureus and adamant together, but in the cases I do, it'll probably be like A-Raz with Falconer Kluri, and it works quite well. Right, so there you guys go. Next up we have Celine's. There you guys go here. Celine putting in a lot of work lately. A lot of people trying out putting like non-attack units on Guild War defenses. It's actually quite funny. Love it. Love to see it. Love to see more healers on Guild War defenses so I can Celine more things. So mine's on a damage build, but she's also 200 something speed. I know you can get like a speed boot, get like 4,400, 4,500 attack. But it's not my thing. I like to go fast, right? It's my playstyle. If I'm drafting something, I want it to take a turn. I want it to go, move, smash some things. So that's what I have her on. Obviously, all my units, 1,000 defense, 10k HP minimum. Right? She's on her own artifact, plus 30, of course, because, I mean, if you're using her, you gotta have that attack buff, or else she's not killing anything. And then her EE here is extra damage with attacking the unit with the highest attack. I like less RNG. Obviously, it's probably good to take this off and put like the, I don't know, the stealth one or something. If you put her on a defense team, she is on my arena defense team. But I like that consistency of always attacking the highest attack unit. But yeah, she does work on arena defense too. A lot of people bring in units like Angelic and stuff against my Arby. Not a good call. Don't do that. Alright, so that's my Celine there. Next up we have Bellona. Vildred's not anything good. Alright, we have Bellona here, and she's got a couple pieces stripped from her, I think. I had to borrow them. So she lost a little bit of damage, I think. She gained a bit of effectiveness. Right, so she's still decent enough. All I use her for is Azimanic, right? So A13. So that's what she's for here. Got the Bloodstone going for the heals, and her own EE, which allows her to dispel a buff. This is really good for A13 because the fact that you can dispel the Enrage, which is huge, allows your team to survive much longer. Right. Obviously, I use Iseria with in the team as well with the buff block and her strips as well. But again, the more strips, the better, right? So it's pretty good. All right, so that's Bellona right there. Next up, we have Iseria. So Iseria here changed some of her gear too. She's actually speed tuned to be faster than my Tamarinne now. I know, quite surprising. But you can see she's on an abnormal build. You're probably like, oh, Azalea, why is she on 100 effect res? What is going on? Well, she is used in the Dark Expedition, and again, the cannon in the Dark Expedition is stupid, so we have to go ahead and build her with 100 effect res to make sure she always resists the skill cooldown decrease that the cannon does. Okay, so she has enough effectiveness to land all the debuffs she needs against any PvE mob, right? 90 something is way more than enough. 100 resist to resist all the PvE debuffs, and she's enough bulk to survive, enough speed to go before Tamarinne. That's all you really need, right? She is currently on Sachet, which is great in A13 to push up your team when those additional mobs die, right? Those little eggs that hatch and stuff. Sachet helps you push up your team whenever your team destroys them. That's quite good. And yeah, very basic, very straightforward. Iseria, use her in A13. I use her in Expeditions, so quite nice. Next up, we have Landy. Yes, I changed up my Landy build. So here we go. She's more of a bruiser Landy now. She used to be 8 speed faster and has like, what, 500 more attack, but she didn't have the bulk. So now she's on bulk and she does her job very well, actually. Very happy with her. So here we go. This is all her gear right here. This is the piece that changed, right? Got a health percent ring here with attack percent, substat, crit chance, crit damage, speed. So it's perfect for her. If her defense was higher, I'd actually kind of like that. If I sacrifice like a little bit of health for some defense, it'd be great, but I don't have the ability to do that right now. But that's okay. She lives carrots. She's perfectly fine. If you have an Aureus user with her, it's great. If you have an FCC with barrier, it's also great. She's going to survive. And she's on Guiding Light, right? I'm trying to get this one to plus 30. Plus 30 Guiding Light would be great. I do actually want another Guiding Light. We'll see it later down when I get to some of the other units. But yeah, Landy, fantastic, fantastic. Plus 15 as well, right? Because she deserves it. Moving on, we have my Earth Rin, one of my next projects I'm really trying to focus on, right? So it's Rin and Dizzy, both counter Rin, counter Dizzy. She is not very good right here. She needs more defense, she needs more HP, way more speed. Would like her to be about 200 speed. I can cut some of the effect res and keep the effectiveness, or I can cut the effectiveness and get her to like about 100 effect res, which would actually make her fairly nice, because you can't control her, right, to prevent her from doing her buffs and such. So it's pretty good. Her weapon's pretty nice, but all her other pieces are kind of not good, right? This is okay. Probably end up putting this on Dizzy, now that I think about it. This piece too, probably end up putting on Dizzy. Decent, like, you have all the stats you need, right? But it's not very impressive overall, I would say. Right? Like a piece like this is very awkward. If I'm keeping her on a resist build, I might actually keep this and like mod away the crit chance right there, right? And don't even look at this boot, right? It's literally just there to complete the counter set. But anyway, she's on Celestine because counter Rin can actually heal the team, which is quite good. And her EE gives her the ability to dispel, so you can actually dispel unbuffables, right? Kind of like made Chloe's recent buff, right? But you can only dispel 1. Maid Chloe can dispel 2 before applying your buff effect. So it's quite nice. It's quite nice. Alright, so that's my Rin right there again. She's my next project, but all of my counter healer gear actually went to Roana. So here's my Roana looking absolutely thick as heck. So look at that defense and HP, and look at that effect res too. Yeah, she is pretty nice. Pretty nice here. I'm very proud of my Roana. Yeah, overall, if I pick her, if I draft her, she usually gets banned, but if she gets through, oh, no, like, she's not dying. She's always usually the last one to die, if I'm losing, right? Fantastic. She's on Stella Harper for healing, because she's too slow to use something like Potion Vial, but you're usually drafting her into AoEs like Counter Dizzy, Seaside Bellonas, you know, even like something like Charles MLKen's, what is it, Champion Zeratos, right? She's good against so many things. Bromans, what is it, Arc Demon. She's so versatile against so many different units in certain matchups. Yeah, it's worth it to have a Roana built, so highly recommended if you like PvP. Stella Harper, though, is there to help cleanse, and it's not once per turn, right? So anytime she gets hit, 48%, 50-50, dispel a debuff from an ally. Alright, so that's my Roana right there. Next up we have General Purrgis. So here he is on his full tank build. I had him on like a bruisery type build for a little fun, a little experimentation while I was farming Banshees and stuff. But I use him in Guild War, and I like him on extra bulk in Guild War as a light bait. So, you know, Rylets and stuff, when they jump into him, barely tickles, right? Barely tickles. He's on some pretty decent gear, actually. All these pieces that no one else uses, because who else is using HP and defense sets, right? Besides random PvE dedicated tanks. But yeah, there you go. Pretty decent stats overall. On Proof of Valor, he does not need Proof of Valor, but I don't have anything else to give him. So he's on Proof of Valor. And it actually does help quite a bit in Guild Wars if I do draft him in there. I use him with Dark Corvus, usually. But I don't typically Dark Corvus much anymore. Alright, but yeah, he also has the EE to help boost by additional 3% combat readiness because... God, he's broken. I hate fighting General Purrgis. I was pre-banning him quite a bit. Before I switch to Maid Chloe. Alright, now we have Little Queen Charlotte coming here. Oh yeah, look at this queen. Now, she's on a full, like, bruiser, like, thing, right? 17k HP, 1.3k defense. Yeah, she's not, you're not gonna hurt her. She's built to last because whenever I draft her, people try to focus her down a lot, right? So because people try to focus her down a lot, she needs bulk, and I have Sigurd Scythe as well. So instead of going the Hellcutter route with more attack and such, I prefer the Bruiser route with Sigurd for the self-sustain. That's how you get those insane clips of me nuking and 1v4ing Little Queen 1v4ing Maid Chloe revives like 3 times in a match, right? It's because of Sigurd, and it's because the bulk that allows me to survive. So, pretty good. Because, again, when you get into Frenzy, you're going to get more attack. When you get below certain health thresholds, Sigurd's going to kick in. So, you're going to get enough attack, right? It's not too bad. I prefer crit damage on her as well. So, yep, that's my little queen. Now, moving on, we got Crimson Armin. I actually re-geared her because I wasn't really using her much, even in Guild Wars. So, I re-geared her. And hopefully she can see some use now. So the goal here is for the rest of the team to go first. And then Crimson Armin puts up the S3 and now everyone's invincible before the opponent goes. That is the goal with this build. And she's on a bit of effect res too, so people can't really like control her easily during that first turn. She's on immunity though, which of course helps a lot. But yeah, a bit of effect res in there. It's pretty good. You can also build her with effectiveness. Because what happens is it allows her to provoke higher resistance units, which is actually quite nice. I might experiment with that if I can get more tank gear with effectiveness on it, but as of right now, this seems to be pretty nice, right? It's not too bad. And she's basically a light version of FCC, right? Pretty much a light version of FCC. We got Aureus here as well to just soak up a little bit of damage. Her passive is very strong now too, right? Just mitigates flat damage mitigation, not just like adamant where it's crit damage, right? Just flat damage mitigation, which is really good against things like LR Krau. It's a shame that he's fallen off though in the meta. Alright, so there we go there. Next up we have Mersa, a new toy that I built because I didn't have Molligoras, and I was like, you know what? I want to 6-star somebody. So we made Mersa. I wish she had more bulk, but other than that, she's looking really nice. Here are all her stats, right? She's pretty much built with damage in mind. I'd really like 10k HP and 1000 defense, but again, it's so hard on a 3-star thief to get those types of stats. If I had like flat stats, like flat HPs and flat defenses, it would help quite a bit, but most of my modifications went into other things. Actually, I modified health here, which is kind of good. She was about like 8k, I think, before I did this. Yeah, trying to get, you know, defense, like wherever I can, I'm trying to get like bulk on her, because it's quite nice. Look, 26% HP, and she's not even breaking 10k health. This 3-star base stats are just a little too low. Moonlight Dreamblade though, Mersa shining better than Rylet's. Yeah, been enjoying using her. The reason I built her is because she's an extra speed imprint for me, right, for the team, which is really nice. So I have Watcher Shuri, I have Mersa now as well. Helga is a speed imprint, but Helga's not as useful, right? Mersa at least has the use of being able to jump in and snipe something. Now, she's on lifesteal, but one thing I've considered is to put her on a speed set, just so if I'm trying to cleave, right? She's about like 220 something speed, so if I'm trying to cleave with some units and she's there as a speed imprint, she can jump in and clean up a kill or just do some extra damage to soften up a unit before my AoE unit goes, right? So that's what I'm kind of debating with her, right? That might be a really nice niche that she could have. But yeah, we'll see if I can get the gear. Next up, Tempest Surin. Yeah, that's right, more lifesteal units. We Banshee gaming, by the way. Alright, Tempest Surin looking really strong. 3,300 attack, over 300 crit damage as well, almost 200 speed. I'm very, very happy with her gear. Oh, yes I am. Now, she doesn't need effectiveness at all to do what she needs to do, which is just, I take her into debuff comps, right? Or cleave comps, and what she does is she counter cleaves them. That's pretty much it. She's on Alexa's basket because why not just gab and win more? And because of lifesteal, yeah, she's going to be very healthy for a very long time. So very happy with her build. Alright, moving on though, we got Celeste. Celeste is, yeah, not really doing much here. Now, she is a speed imprint, right? So, but the thing is, Smilegate refuses to give me 3-star imprints. So, Celeste is just here. She used to be like 300, I could make her like 300 speed, but I no longer need her to contest because Cleave doesn't work in that way anymore. And I also recalled my Cdom, but Celeste is here just to kind of, for fun. She's just there for fun, right? She'll have a bit of effectiveness, bit of speed, just push things back. Not really useful for anything, really. Perhaps in mock battles, Unseen Observer for 10 souls, right? Just to troll a little bit, but you know, a little casual, little Celeste. Haven't shown her in a while, so I thought I'd throw her in there. Okay, but the true contester here for first turn, actually not really, she's too slow for that, but Lidica. So Lidica is what I use to boost up my team when I try to cleave, right? I don't typically like to rely too much on things like Cdom because you have things like Politis, you have like Celine's, right? You have so much stuff that can screw over a Cdom. But Lidica, super nice. Pushes up the team. You can get skill nullifiers up. She works outside of cleaves too. She works in bruiser comps. The fact that she can stealth now with Guiding Light, the fact that she can reset high value targets like Krau's, you can even soul burn. Right, if you brought like a Taga Hell's user, carrots, you can soul burn and reset things like Maid Chloe's. Right, she's so strong, and I mean, if you pre-ban General Purrgis, you can easily draft Lidica's, so it's quite nice. Yeah, Guiding Light makes her really strong because you no longer have to be like 300 speed. You can just have her like this. This is some of my fastest gear, by the way, as you can see, 21 speeds all over. But some of my fastest gear, and she's only still not even breaking 280, which is very sad. But yeah, Guiding Lights makes it so Acids, A-Colies and stuff can't hit her, which is pretty good, So, very happy with her. One of my favorite units in the entire game, so I have to keep her geared. Right, follow your heart, not the meta. Right, next up we have Watcher Shuri, my speed imprint here, and you might be looking at this like, wow, where's your damage, bro? But Watcher Shuri is here because he has speed. I built him with speed boots because I want him to go and take a turn. Again, you're starting to see a trend with a lot of my builds, right? I like to take turns, I like to go. Lidica with Watcher Shuri is going to be pretty nice, right? Puts her at almost 290 speed, and Watcher Shuri being about, 190-ish speed, pushed up by Lidica, will take a turn. And yeah, he's not too bad. He actually benefits, by the way, from flat attack, so it's pretty good. Here we see another sachet here. I'd like to upgrade this to plus 30 just to give him more attack, but again, low priority for me right now. Combat readiness boost is huge, so if Watcher snipes like a squishy, or if anyone else, like if I'm trying to cleave and I kill somebody, or more than one unit, pushes up the entire team, again, guarantees that Watcher's going to have a turn to snipe down or clean up some of the other units. Again, he's on cleanup duty, right? He's not there to one-shot FCC from 100 to 0. He's there to snipe like, half-health LR Krau, or to clean up another squishy unit that's there before they take a turn. So that's what he's there for. Quite nice, quite nice. Still needs a bit of reforge here, right? That's going to give him a lot of attack there, and a bit of attack here as well, right? We need to find a different helmet for him with more attack, less crit chance. Alright, but yeah, that's Watcher Shuri for you guys. Moving on, we got Benevolent Romann, the Broman here. So, Broman has been slowed down. He kind of gets like the leftovers, right, of speed gear, because I don't really use him very often outside of Guild Wars. I use him in Guild Wars. He's on my arena defense team too. So here are his stats: 250 speed. Again, not very good. Good Bromans out there, 280 speed, right, easily. But decent effectiveness, right? You're going to need to land your strips, and the reason why I still have him geared, he's also in Unity because Unity is an amazing set. The reason I still have him geared is because the fact that he is a mage, and he can strip 2 buffs, and he can hold book. So, Broman stripping 2 buffs into Flan, who can defense break, push the enemy team back, then push your DPS forward using Tagahel's souls. Then Flan gives the 10 souls with Unseen Observer, which allows your DPS to go ahead and snipe everything, right? Defense break on the opponent, attack buff and crit damage buff on your team is the perfect setup. So Broman is there for that. He used to be very scary in things like RTA, but no longer the case. Everyone has cleansers now, right? Everyone has cleansers, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, he used to be on Abyssal Crown, but now he's on Tagahel's because it's his job to strip and provide souls. Okay, moving on, we have Silverblade Araminta. That's where the Abyssal Crown went. And yeah, not too great of a build, but it works, right? Troll around in some Guild Wars, have some fun. She got some of her old gear back that she used to have, and she also got a pretty decent helmet here. This might actually be really good on Alencia, but I have to wait and see. But yeah, overall, Silverblade Araminta putting in decent work in Guild Wars. Sometimes you just want to have fun and control things. She's also really fun to draft in RTA if the opponent leaves themselves with too many tanks, right? Too many high HP, bruisery tanks, but they don't have cleansers, they don't have sustain, right? They don't have a lot of units that can stop Araminta from just full stunning the team and then just burning them to death slowly, right? So it's really nice. 150 effectiveness, not bad. You probably want to push like 200 effectiveness if you really want to reliably hit like debuff cleansers and stuff. Again, something like what my Flan has, but you can cut off some attack, get some more bulk on her. I've seen counter Aramintas work really well, but this is just what I have on her right now. Again, not everything's I-90'd. She's a low priority unit for me, but I know a lot of people do enjoy using her. Abyssal Crown here, right? Just because why not? More chances to just keep stunning the opponents, because why not? And I think she's a much better Abyssal Crown holder than Broman was, so pretty happy about that. Alright, moving on, we got DJB. So DJB here, yeah, a lot of, here are his stats, a lot of effect res, right? All effect res, and pretty good bulk, pretty good speed. DJB is one of my favorite units in the entire game, and yeah, he puts in a ton of work, right? He's on Water's Origin here, because he can push himself up, heal himself. It's really, really nice for sustain. I have enough effect res that I do not need Shamadras. I don't think Shamadras is very good on him anyway, Just get your stats through gear, right? And hopefully I can get more imprints. I did pull 2 GJBs back on his Mystic banner, but if the Sar gets another banner, I'm SSSing DJB. He is way too fun, and I love him way too much not to. So that is a future goal. Next up, Doris, Miss Doris here, Magic Scholar Doris. So I actually went ahead and committed quite a few resources into putting gear onto her, and she is looking so much better than she ever was. Now she can really be a Rylet tank and a light bait in Guild Wars, which is very nice. I do really want to reforge some of her pieces as well. As you can see, I reforged this, which is quite good. This piece here is actually quite a decent piece. Not gonna lie, this is quite a decent piece here, this ring. But you know, it's level 78. You can't reforge it. And this was not a bad boot either, right? Pretty nice. So overall, this is pretty decent. I would like to reforge that. Would like to reforge this and this as well. I want to change this to HP % down here. So yeah, she's gonna be looking very good, and I want to use her in RTA. She's on Potion Vial, just so it gives her the ability to cleanse a little bit more. Idol's Cheer might actually be really good on her. I might switch her to Idol's Cheer, but we'll see. We'll see how I use her and how I draft her, right? I haven't used her since I built her here yet, but we're going to see results in the coming weeks. Alright, moving on, we got Ruel, getting her skin, looking very much like Ishtar in that skin. I cannot wait to have that FGO collab. Am I right, guys? Ha ha ha. No. Anyway. Here we go. Her stats are really nice. Very standard Ruel, right? Kind of low on the effect res side. I know people with effect res Ruels tend to have like closer to 170, 180 effect res. I would like to get more effect res, but hey, look, this necklace here sucks. So yeah, can't do that. Everything else is quite nice though. Effect res ring. This rolled decently. I don't think this rolled really well, but it rolled decently. Boots are alright, right? Pretty good. So if I can reforge the boots, if I can reforge the chest, and I get a necklace that's not garbage, she'll probably reach around like 195 speed or something, and be pretty good, right? Get some more bulk, get some more resistance. She's on Water's Origin. This is not a plus 31. I would like to get a plus 31, another one, but I'm working on that down here. DJB is a higher priority for that plus 30 Water's Origin. But yeah, Ruel, I don't draft her very often. If I do, it's a Frenzy 9 game, so yeah, I try not to. Alright, moving on. Commander Lorena, PvE unit. So here you go, free attack set, because it works, and why not? Her helmet here has 24% defense, because if you're putting her on auto in something like Hellraid, she does need a bit of bulk to survive. I know some people put her on like spare lifesteal gear, which also works quite well. She doesn't need too much crit damage, right? She just needs attack. Attack, some bulk, no speed, crit chance, that's it. So very easy to build and a very effective unit. If you're early game, right, she's probably going to be one of your best friends, and I've never stopped using her ever since. She's only on a plus 15 Joker for me here. I could try to enhance this, but again, she does her job on this Joker. All my other Jokers are on my Hunt teams, so she used to have a plus 31, but not anymore. But yeah, she does her job. That's all you need. Moving on, we got Dark Corvus here. Aw, yeah, so Dark Corvus, rocking just, you know, HP set gear. Doesn't need speed because I run him with General Purrgis. Overall, such a fun unit in Guild Wars. And what I mean by fun is, some people are like, oh, he's so boring, but you win. You win Guild Wars. You smash things, right? You see Ruel, Krau, and Rylet, you smash, right? You don't care. And that's what makes him so great. He's on Strat Gauntlet, not a plus 31. I do have a plus 31, but it's on Kitty Clarissa, but plus 15 is good enough. He has a 160 effect res. Nothing's debuffing him, so not in Guild Wars at least. Alright, so there we go. That's my Dark Corvus there. Great Chief Kawana. Oh yeah, traded in my CDOM for this right here, guys. Great Chief Kawana actually built, I know, and she's actually not looking too shabby. Have her on a Bruiser build, so here you guys go with the stats. Took a lot of CDOM's old gear. Right, have her on immunity with some speed. Pretty good unit, actually, for her cleansing. So she's kind of like Holiday Yufine in a sense, right? If you don't have a lot of opponents that you know, have Krau controls, right? Stuns, sleeps, Emma balls, 8 high winds and stuff. She can actually be very nice in cleansing your team from random debuffs that DPSs might inflict on you, right? RB blinds and stuff like that. So she's pretty fun to use. Obviously not high tier RTA worthy. Sigret Scythe on her because she's a bruiser, can recover some health. Not bad overall stats, right? She's really high crit chance due to her passive here. Makes her easier to build. You can focus more on bulk and crit damage and attack. The hardest stat for me to get was the attack because none of my gear likes to roll attack percent for some reason. So that's why you have to, you know, have to get like this. This was an old carrot piece actually, I think. Old carrot piece. See, everything just rolled HP. Like barely any attack anywhere. This weapon's okay, but yeah. Overall, fun unit. I don't run. I've never played Katie's the hunt. There's no reason to. I don't like that hunt. Why would you ever? But Great Chief Kawana. Look at that. So just look at her art. It's just so worth. Oh my god, she's beautiful. Anyway, moving on. We got Kitty Clarissa here with my plus 30 Strat Gauntlet. Yeah, she's not on the highest resistance anymore. She used to be 300 resist, 310 or something resist, but DJB took most of her gear. She's kind of on some spare resistance stuff. You see none of it's really reforged at all. Kind of garbage piece here, no speed at all there. Yeah, 35 speed boot, like come on. This is just a PvE build right here. Plus 30 Strack, which puts her at like 220 resistance, which is not okay. It's like not too bad, right? She's usable at these stats in PvP, but she's mostly for PvE, Hall of Trials and stuff like that. Kind of fun to use her in for her dual attacks, for her cleansing. So it's not bad. Not bad. Alright, next up we have ML Ken, who's definitely having his time to shine in Guild Wars against the meta. So, FCC, Landy, T Surins, right? ML Ken solos them. And my ML Ken's on full free gear. None of his gear is reforgeable, as you can see. Level 78s, level 88s, right? All free. All free pieces. They just rolled HP and defense, and like, I really wanted things like crit chance, but it doesn't work. Never lucky, right? But it rolled in a way that was perfect for what I need him to do, which is tank, right? So this is really nice stats for just free gear. Imagine if this could get reforged, right? He'd be insane. All right, but yeah, that's my ML Ken. He's on a plus 15 Sigurd because again, my LQC is on the plus 27 one. So Martial Artist Ken and Great Chief Kawana kind of get the plus 15 ones. The spare ones I had laying around. Very good artifact, right? Very good. I wish I had more. But yeah, he does his job. Next up, we have FCC. Yeah, she doesn't do anything except soak damage and give me barriers, which is very nice. But she's on speed immunity, right? I don't think anything's changed from the last time you guys saw her. There you guys go. This is a really nice chess piece, by the way. Some effect res there. I don't know why I modded the effect res, because what is 21 effect res ever gonna do, right? It might be decent as a hand-me-down to another like Soul Weaver or something though. Would be kind of cool. Ruel would maybe appreciate that. Yeah, could modify away some crit chance, right? She has 18 crit chance. Could modify that way. Should probably give her some effectiveness instead of effect res. That'd be kind of good, just to ensure provokes on some units. But yeah, she's on a plus 30 Aureus. Overall, she does her job. She tanks, so no worries. Next up, Arbiter Vildred. That's right, my bulky RB that people in RTA just always shy of some damage. 10k HP, 1000 defense. Again, my standard. I'm probably crazy for doing this on all my units, but I love it. My units survive, right? And if they survive to live for another turn, that's another turn of extra damage that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So here you go. Here are his stats. I like using him to cleave, obviously. He's one of the best cleavers in the game. But hey, if he's banned, or if he has counter picks or the opponent bans him or something, I have other options, and I'll show you them in just a second. But overall, love his damage, 4k attack, 300 crit damage, bulk, decent speed, 100% crit chance, and effect res here that I don't know what to do with. I'll probably modify this away, actually, into something, but I don't know what. Plus 15 Alexa's Basket, because just gab and win, right? Why not? Just gab and win. That's what RB does. Alright, next up we have another new unit you guys haven't really seen. You might have seen them in my RTA videos and stuff, but you haven't seen the stats of her here. Assassin Coley. So there you go. Here's my Assassin Coley. Not meant to speed contest. Keep that in mind. She's not meant to speed contest. My Assassin Koli's here to target mid-tier units, right? Mid-speed units. Basars, most Flans, right? Politis, those types of units, okay? I draft Assassin Koli there. She will snipe things down with a Soulburn, Carrot. Draft Carrot with Soulburn, just Soulburn anything. God, having Soulburn with Tagahels is such an amazing thing, and I've never ever understood the beauty of it until I started using it myself. So there you go. Yeah, Soulburn A Koli, snipe whatever unit that's annoying. If it's a Politis or whatever, snipe it down. Boom, you're free. Go do whatever you need to do, right? Cleave now. A Koli is really nice in Arena. She's fantastic in Guild Wars. She's fantastic in RTA. They're really loving using her. Portrait here for the extra sniping damage, right? She gives herself an attack buff at the start of the turn, so even if you don't Soulburn her, she's probably going to kill like every squishy unit that's out there. The extra attack percent here was actually quite nice on the EE, and I chose the immunity one because sometimes she gets knocked out of stealth. You're also going to notice she has 1k defense and 10,000 HP. Sometimes she gets knocked out of stealth, and she's going to survive maybe like a poke or two, okay, from some of the opponent's units. That means if you have immunity, you won't get debuffed. You can re-stealth when she laps and gets another turn. So that's why I love having her on a bit of bulk, pretty decent speed, and I love the immunity on S3, right? 2 turns of immunity is huge. So, yeah. You're going to notice that on some of these pieces, right, I could have modified, like, look, I could have modified crit damage here, but I didn't. Modified some health because I found that her surviving was worth more than, like, 3 or 4 crit damage here. So, very, very nice. Alright, moving on, we have ML Rin. She's my speed contester. I don't really contest too much speed nowadays because if someone drafts Cerise, I just draft DJB. But the immunity on Crescent Moon Rin is fantastic. She has really good bulk here. Pretty decent effectiveness, right? Overall, not too bad. Not the fastest gear that I have, obviously. I can make a 300 something ML Rin, but there's no point because people aren't really drafting too much speed units. People are still drafting, General Purrgis, Blue Krau, Carrots, Landys, right? The fastest thing you'll see running around is probably like a Cerise, right? Maybe if someone has a fast Flan or something. Overall, no one's really contesting too much speed nowadays, so she's on some pretty good gear. Oh, that flat defense, though, helping her out quite a bit. I should modify away this crit damage, actually. Huh. Yeah, I should probably do that. But anyway, I don't know what I'd modify it into. But, yeah, there's my ML Rin, RNL here for extra turns. Cycle her immunity, cycle her strip, her stun. Yeah, she's a fantastic unit. Absolutely love using her. Alright, moving on, we got all-rounder Wanda. Yeah, she's not really built for PvP, but she's fun to use sometimes in Guild Wars. Use her to just kind of poke things down, right? I like using her with Silverblade Araminta and Broman. So Broman strips, Araminta stuns. If Araminta gets 15%ed, Wanda actually one of the few units that has a 2-turn stun. So her S3 can stun for 2 turns. If you Soulburn it, it ignores effect res, I believe. And yeah. Very, very nice. So she's on some spare pieces. Fun to use in mock battles, right? Decided just to show you guys some of these units that I sometimes use in mock battles, because why not? She's usable, right? See, ignores effect res, stun for 2 turns. Really nice, right? If you have like a Maid Chloe on the other team, just stun 2 turns. And by the time Chloe gets another turn, well, everyone's dead. Alright, next up. Ooh, sorry, there we go. This is my plus 15 Iseria. Getting imprints on her, quite nice, right? Would like some more. But here's what she looks like here. Yeah. Put her on full damage. Again, 1,000 defense, 10k HP, because why not? Why not? I know she has immortality, but what are you going to do, huh? Alright, speed immunity here, though. Got some really, really nice damage pieces on her. Strip my Holly Yufine of her damage build to scatter her pieces around to some other units, right? To Mercedes, to Briarwitch. She's on a crit chance necklace, by the way. 277 crit damage on a crit chance necklace. Very nice. Very efficient stats. So you see you get crit damage here, right? Massive crit damage here. It's really nice to have. If you can get good crit damage rolls, run a crit chance necklace, it's going to be sick. This Iseria deletes things. I've been testing her all day. RTAs, Guild Wars, Arenas. Oh my gosh, she's so fun to use. Symbol of Unity here. Extra crit chance, because remember how I said there's a dedicated Rylet deleter now? Yeah, that's Briarwitch Iseria. It's not 100% that you'll hit the Rylet, but I mean, come on, what's he gonna do? One-shot Iseria with immortality? She's gonna have another chance, right? So it's all good. With these types of stats, if you get an attack buff, Symbol of Unity, like the extra damage, oh, you're gonna clap, especially with her passive that does even more splash damage, like a built-in drink. Ah, Iseria. I used to have her on a 255, 100 effectiveness, like about 3,500 attack and 100% crit chance build, right? No crit damage. She worked there. She worked really well. I really like that build. She's one of those units, if I had 2 Iserias, oh, you bet, I'd probably just build a speed effectiveness one and keep the damage one. But, you know, I don't have the resources for that. Alright, next up we have Operator Sigret, new addition to our lineup. As you can see, I'm still trying in the process of plus 15 her. She's definitely a plus 15 project. Here's her stats right now. Here's her build. Now, not the best build, right? Obviously. I'm trying to go for a speed build. I want her to go first, right? I want her to go first. Now, she's not speed contesting, right? But I would draft her into, you know, those tanky Knight comps, Krau, FCCs, LR Kraus, Carrots. You draft her into those types of teams with barriers and stuff, right? None of those comps are usually very fast. So you pick Operator Sigret and they ban her. And you'll never get to use her because that's literally what everybody does. That's it. So she doesn't need to have the best gear. She's getting banned anyway. You Operator Sigret users out there can probably understand. Yeah, so she's, you know, not the best build, not the worst build. I want her to do damage, right? So she can do decent damage if they don't have an Aureus user. If they do have an Aureus user, she's probably gonna just do a little bit, right? She's gonna soften up a unit like a Carrot or something. And then clean up. I clean up with my other units. She does have an attack buff on her S3, which is quite nice, but is it really going to be that useful? I don't know, right? In terms of strip, sorry, the strip. The strip, I don't really know. Mine's not built with effectiveness. She can strip like the DPS units and push them back, which is quite nice. But the ability to attack buff is actually huge, right? So I have units like Rose, right? And I have units like Flan that are faster than Operator Sigret. Flan's about the same speed. But usually what will happen is Sigret will get like an attack buff of some sort, be able to snipe something down, get an extra turn, give the attack buff to the rest of the team, like Arby or whatever, right? That's given that Flan has already defense broken everything, and then you cleave, right? So you get rid of the Aureus target with Operator, and then you cleave. Now, I can put her on a attack boot here. If I put her on an attack boot, she'll reach 4,000 attack and like 250, 260 crit damage, which is okay. Like, it's not a huge difference in damage from what I currently have here with so much damage calculations I've been trying. It's about like 2,000 or 3,000 damage off, which is quite a bit of damage, but not enough for me to give up 40-something speed. She's on Guiding Light, so she's going to be safe from getting sniped early on by like Emma Rins, Acids, you know, all that stuff. She could be on immunity, but I don't have the pieces for it. It would gimp some of her stats here, and I don't want that. Some of her damage. So she's on Guiding Light, though. As you can see, Guiding Light was taken off of Iseria. She was on just full damage. She has immunity, though. Without Guiding Light, she has to be on immunity for that to work. But yeah, Operator Sigret. Been testing her out. Been pretty fun, actually. You guys will see clips of her in the future as well. Alright, moving on though, we got Oxlots here. Yeah, rip Oxlots. Full PvE duty for you, buddy. So bulky here to survive, got some speed to just be slightly faster than Landy and push her up in the Earth Expedition. Yeah, that's about all he does nowadays. Yeah, so he's on immunity, not really for anything. Sometimes I bring him in Guild Wars, because it's funny. If Angelica goes first, then Oxlots goes, push up a really slow DPS, and you can just cleave that way too. Sometimes works, but nowadays I just doesn't really matter, right? If they have an Arby, you bring like Carrot or someone who's very tanky, bruisery, can sustain and take a extra S3 from Arby, and you're good. So that's why he's on Spirit's Breath. He's not even on Tagahel's, so yeah, poor Oxlots. I might re-gear him again, but again, Flan is like the new Oxlots, right? I love Flan way too much. She kind of took his niche. Although, again, you can build him like 290, 300 speed Oxlots, and he's great. Just not for what I like, not for my playstyle. Not how I usually draft. Next up, Champion Zerato. Oh, you debuffers, look away. Debuff players, look away. This is a no-speed, full tank damage Champion Zerato. Never fails. People always think they can one-shot him.